Okay, we're here with Larry Bodine, who is one of the foremost voices, I think, in law firm marketing today. Real thought leader, especially in the social media spaces and just in what lawyers are doing today. So, welcome, Larry.
Mike, thank you very much for having me on this call. I'm flattered by your comments. It's a pleasure to be on Skype with you.
Okay. Larry, I guess why don't we start? I mean, I know people know you, but for those who aren't familiar maybe with your work, give us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what it is you're doing these days.
Sure, I'm a business development advisor, Mike. I help law firms generate more revenue and get more clients and get more files for current clients. And I've been doing this independently for the last 10 years. Frankly, one of the things that I tell lawyers is you got to figure out what you like to do and pursue your passion. You got to find people that you like to work with and work that you like to do. And if you build a clientele around that, that's the formula for a happy law practice.
That's good. And happy log practice, some people might say it's an oxymoron, but I think, like you could testify that there's plenty of satisfied guys out there that follow that
Right.
formula.
The dissatisfied lawyers, by the way, are the ones who let their clients pick them, and that would be work that was assigned by a senior partner or work that just came in over the transom. And you're going to have a lot of real jerks as clients, or people who shopped around and came to you because you were the cheapest lawyer they could find. And if you're hungry for work, you're going to take whatever they have, and you're going to be evicting people from their homes and
Right.
doing all sorts of unpleasant work. So it's much better to have an idea of whom you want as your client and to pursue them and have you pick your clients.
Today, it seems like there are more tools out there. I mean, with the whole proliferation of what we'll call social media or online tools, as I prefer, there seems to be more access to a wide variety of clients, and lawyers seem to be networking in new ways. So, what do you see as really the direction that's heading, and how can lawyers effectively use those technologies to maybe meet the clients they want to meet and make the contacts they need to make?
Well, the ultimate way, of course, to keep a relationship going with a client is to meet them in person. But sometimes that's not possible because they're on another continent, as you and I
There.
are. What I always urge the attorneys to do is number one, open up a LinkedIn account at the very least,
Right.
fill the profile completely, and start inviting people you know who can lead you to new business or who are certainly clients and
Right.
accept invitations from people like that. And then join a group, get involved in discussions, and participate in Web 2.0.
Right.
Uh, and the nice thing about LinkedIn is you can request an introduction, so it works just like real life.
Right. Right. And I think that's great. And one of the things we've been noticing. I mean, I'm with Martindale Hubble Connected,
Yep.
and we've noticed that lawyers tend to be hesitant, especially when it comes to new technology. I'm a lawyer too, but I'm a young lawyer, so for me, this stuff's intuitive, and I don't really have an issue with it. But I think maybe some of the more seasoned veteran lawyers are more hesitant because they're risk adverse or they want to see what happens. Do you think we've seen enough proof from these tools to see lawyers start integrating it into their daily work to save maybe time in email? I mean, if you spend, you could spend maybe 15 minutes in a discussion forum and get 2 hours worth of email discussions done in 15 minutes. Is that something you think we're going to see lawyers start to do, and where do you see that happening?
Yeah, absolutely, it's happening, and it's happening already. I mean, I saw a statistic by Nielsen which said that more conversations are taking place in online social networks than in email. So the key thing for the lawyers is basically to go where the conversations are and be part of it. If you're going fishing, fish where the fish are.
Right.
The and it's interesting, it's sort of automatic for younger people like yourselves, but speaking as a baby boomer, old dogs can learn new tricks.
Right.
Uh, it's a little more work because it doesn't come quite as intuitively. But I advise all the lawyers that, if well, and I got to say, a great place to start, if a lawyer has any sort of reluctance, is on Martindale Connected, because you are dealing with other attorneys. You're
Right.
not dealing with the general population. You can be a little bit more relaxed about, forming unwanted attorney-client relationships, and you don't have to make as many disclaimers. And I see that, Martindale Connected is really gaining a lot of critical mass.
Right.
And so for lawyers who are a little bit computer shy, I recommend Connected to them. But here's an interesting point, and that is that right now the baby boomers no longer the largest generation in history.
All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's guys like you. It's the net generation.
Right.
People pretty much who were born from 1977 afterwards.
That's me.
You are now, yeah, there you go.
77.
Largest section of the population worldwide.
Wow.
And, the net generation uses texting. They use Facebook. They grew up with video games.
Right.
Very natural to people in the largest generation now. So what I tell the older lawyers is, it really behooves you to learn a new method of conversation, because this is how most people are speaking nowadays.
Right, right. And hopefully it doesn't involve a bunch of witty acronyms like LOL and BRB, right? It's just the methodology, not necessarily the
right.
the syntax.
Right. Exactly. You don't need to put an emoticon with a smiley face.
Right.
Well,
it's an interesting point you're raising. Seth Godin, who's a big social media marketing evangelist, one of my big influences. He wrote the book Tribes, and the subtitle for that book is "We Need You to Lead Us." And that's almost what I want to plead with some of these more, the more veteran, experienced lawyers. We need you to lead us. It's guys like the senior partners that are in the baby boomer generation that have the ability to make this part of the workflow, that can make it a priority to for the firm to find efficiencies in these tools. And so I think it's I'm hoping for the future that we're going to see over the next year or two a little more synergy there, some cross mentoring, maybe some of the net generation mentoring the older generation, the baby boomer generation, and vice versa, right? Because sometimes the net generation can be foolish in the way we use the media. So it'll be interesting.
The point is, you can never reach a point where you stop learning, or you just decide, well, there are new tools that have become available, and I'm going to stick with the tool that my grandfather did.
Right.
And I find frequently that all you really need to do to calm down the baby boom generation is to have a written social media policy. And as long as you've got something formalized and in writing, then they feel perfectly comfortable with it. And you say things like, don't discuss client affairs, don't take a position on a court ruling, because someone may be writing a brief taking the opposite position.
Right.
Pretty much basics that every lawyer knows. And then what the senior lawyers will say is, God bless you. You want to do online social networking. You want to provide content on an online social network. That's great. You go ahead and do that.
Right. So you'll get the blessing. That's the good thing.
Get the blessing, and then they're out of the way.